But yeah, anything else to put a bow on this game? And I do want to hit a couple other things around the NBA before we wrap the show.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I want to ask Bobby is, so Bobby, I don't know if everyone watching knows this, is fairly low on the Sixers. Is anything changing your mind after preseason game one?
I'm glad you bring that up. Do they look all that different to you guys? And again, the hype train's rolling. There's a few ancillary differences, but the core is the same. Embiid's jacking shots. Simmons is just doing a straight line drives. There's no cohesion between them, really. They're both great players, but do they enhance each other or anything like that? I thought Danny Green was effective, especially on the defensive end. That guy makes an impact, and when he can shoot and defend like he can, he's going to be a pretty steady rotation guy for them. But Seth Curry, he's a shooter, didn't knock down his shots tonight, non-defender. That's going to be a guy who's tough to play against wing-heavy teams like Boston, like Brooklyn. And then you get into the bench, it's a lot of question marks. Tyrese Maxey looked good for them. They have a few decent rookie guys, but again, like they dumped Horford and they picked up a few shooters. They didn't sign James Harden yet. Once we get there, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, but it's still walking through the door, Bobby. Come on, man.
It's a trickle-down effect, too. You might be able to activate a guy like Tobias Harris a little bit better by having more space and not having Horford out there.
Doc Rivers. So,
and you create more more shooters out there. That opens things up for Simmons to drive. Just more opportunity there. It's really more the addition by subtraction sort of thing. You needed to get less of, you needed less big and goofy and, whatever it was they had last year that wasn't working, and you needed shooters. So that's it. I'd say there is a difference. And you still have Howard coming in off the bench if you need him.
He looked good. He did.
Dwight Howard, I think
Mike Scott.
That's an asset. That's a real asset. I mean, I hate Dwight Howard, but that for what you need him for on that team, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. And those two shooters, Bobby, I mean, that's pretty much what they need, right? They don't have JJ anymore. And, when Ben Simmons went down, you can see how much they really need shooters. So they have two new ones. I mean, they're not, over the top, but I think they're a better team.
Green.
So Danny Green, my problem with Danny Green, and now we do this whole thing, the winner. He won the championship with Toronto. He won with the Lakers. He didn't do anything really with either team in those postseason runs. He was
never heard of him?
dead cold from three. Great defender, and again, a veteran. So another guy in the room, and the body language was much better with them today, too. They were talking about the bench going crazy, and Embiid did have a great game, so we'll see with them once the real games start going, once they figure out their rotations. But those two guys hold it back a little bit.
The thing I was most impressed by with the Sixers, did Bobby freeze?
No,
sorry,
waiting.
Froze. My bad. You froze on me, so I started talking. Go ahead, Bobby.
I was saying just reel back on those two guys. Green wasn't great the last two postseason runs, even though we did win. Curry's a non-defender, so he's always going to be tough if he's getting targeted defensively to play him. Phenomenal shooter, one of the best role guys in the league shooting. They got him for nothing, so I'm not going to knock the additions, but maybe just a little bit overrated. This team's only going to go as far as its core pieces really start to lock in and mesh.
Yeah,
that's the Celtics too, though. I mean, that's every team. You're only going to go as far.
Oh, they have far fewer question marks than the Celtics.
The Celtics swept them last year, and I know Simmons was out, but again, we're talking about a first round exit. No, I'm just saying. Jimmy's talking about question marks. The Celtics have their core has proven themselves. Philly, we're talking about a team that Jimmy Butler brought to the second round and lost, and now he's gone. And what do they have between those two? And what have they done? Like, it's just the track record's not there.
Bobby, you would say that the Sixers had a better offseason than the Celtics, would you not?
Yeah.
You would have to. I mean, they overhauled their coaching and front office. They brought in two shooters, and I think they're still going to look relatively this is preseason game one. Doc Rivers has been there for like 3 weeks, and these guys have barely even said hi to each other. So I don't think they've really done a lot to change who they are or who they were, but I think they have those capabilities. They're going to work on, I don't know what Doc Rivers is capable of with the X's and O's and all that, but I would imagine he's going to work on incorporating Green and Curry to offset the lack of outside shooting from somebody like Simmons, right? So, I mean, I think that they've got a good thing going on there, and I think their attitude was their biggest issue last year. So if Doc Rivers can come in and change that, then that's the biggest thing that's going to help them because the skill is there.
I agree
with the Celtics, we already know Celtics, we already know, not to cut you off, Josue, but just like their big issue right now is health and lack of depth. So
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say at least their core players are healthy in comparison to the Celtics,
right.
or at least the Celtics don't even have the same core players they had last year, whereas Philly does. I mean, yeah, health is always a concern. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, this team has to be healthy, especially those guys moving forward. But, to Jimmy's point, Doc Rivers, I think this is a new voice, and I think Doc has a lot to prove in the NBA. The way things ended with LA, clearly, I don't think he agreed with it. He had the exclusive with Rachel Nichols to confirm it, saying, look, it was the bubble. I didn't think that was fair. I thought that it was a unique circumstance, and he didn't think that. But whatever. But he put it was, look, for the day organizations ask me if they still want me, that's the day it's time for me to move on. And so he did. So I think he has that in his mind. He has a lot to prove. He's got, Paul George yapping that, I guess Doc didn't use him correctly. So I think Doc has a lot to prove.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And I agree with you 100% there, Josue. Pandemic, bubble, all the things going around that team there.
He waited 4 days and he got that job offer right after.
And all you do is move on to the assistant coach in that position. So he got a bad situation. I know Gorman talked a little bit about that on the broadcast too. I never liked the Doc firing in LA. It wasn't their problem. And he's got a good situation on his hands here. The one thing I'll say in favor of them though, versus the Celtics as we transition into this year, Joel and Ben have experience being the faces of this team. Tatum and Brown, they're moving into a little bit of a different position now in terms of being 1 and 2 on the roster definitively. So there is experience with Philly of them being in that position, whereas Boston, you are shifting around those pieces a little bit. I'm pretty confident, though, that Boston, once they get their roster healthy this year, does have a better team than them, just because I don't like the fit issues there still between the stars. But, it's close. It's going to be close. I had Boston at 4 and Philly at 6. There won't be much separation there.
I was really impressed by Ben Simmons' 3-point stroke he's been working around in the offseason.
Doc's working on it, man. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
What's he going to do that Brown did it? Brown had the bullhorn. Shoot. And he wouldn't do it. So I don't know what Doc can do differently.
Did any of you guys hear Doc swearing a lot tonight? I feel like I heard him. He went through like 5 times, like so clearly you could hear him every word out of it. It looked like he was talking to Joel Embiid. So I like it.
I like those bench guards they got. Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey look excellent today. That's another guy we're going to look at and say the Celtics had a chance to pick him, and we'll see what happens. Because
how about Thibault, man? That guy went from a starter to
he's gone.
Yeah, he was awful in the playoffs last year too.
That's true, but geez, he's almost G League bound. It seems like.
Hey, good defender, nothing on offense. You need a little bit of a.
Bobby, I got to tell people about Legends, but I can't find it anywhere, so I'm gonna have to do it a little bit later.
The Legends.
Just thinking out loud, John.
I'll get
isn't
that.
Josue,
Bobby, send me read. I gotta tell the people about it.
No, I think I remember it. Isn't it Horford 20?
Do it off the top of your head. Just guess, Jimmy. Just.
I think it's
you get sweatshirts and they're cool.
The Legends.
Yeah,
thelegends.com. Josue is wearing one right now. Josue,
I'm not modeling like you wanted to do.
Show us a little label that you got going on that right on that shoulder there. Thelegends.com.
That's how you say comfortable Boston. That's how you say warm.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting snow on Thursday. You're gonna bundle up. It's not too late. I think if you order now, I have no idea if this is true, but if you order now, guarantee to get your order by Christmas. I have no idea if that's true.
Oh, yeah, you're really going on.
They're quick. They're quick. 2 days.
Maybe that's good enough. Horford 20, was it 20% off?
It was Horford 20. You got that.
There you go, and that's
about roughly 60 or so with the discount.
Thelegendsbrand.com/Horford is where you want to go.
/Horford, and then the promo code Horford20 gets you 20% off. Awesome hoodies like what Josue is wearing. They're actually pretty.
$75. A lot of other places are charging $100, $150. They're $75, comfortable.
But with that discount, Bobby, it's not $75. So go buy it, guys.
Yeah, it's $60.
We cobbled together a perfectly good ad read here.
Of course we did.
Flawless.